to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
This is Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with
Eddie and Harold. We are from Imminence, a band from Sweden.
Nice.
Good to be here.
So, how far away are you from, like, Uppsala or Gothenburg?
Very far. We live in the southernmost part.
Oh, okay.
Of Sweden, yeah.
So I played hockey on a bandy court in Gothenburg, and I was at a wedding in Uppsala, and I have a funny story about that wedding.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, so us Americans think reindeer are fictional characters for Santa at the North Pole.
Yeah.
And so I was married at the time, and it was my bro's wedding, and the bride, her parents are reindeer farmers.
Oh, okay.
So that's what the food was at the wedding reception. And so I didn't eat meat at the time. My wife did, and she's eating it. I'm like, is that meat good? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, you're eating Rudolph. And she's like, what are you talking about? That's reindeer meat. She's like, get the fuck out of here. There's no such thing as reindeer meat.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Right.
But that's like the very northern parts. Like,
right.
We get across those things. We live in the very south, so we don't see any reindeers at all. But crazy, okay.
Right? So it's like, here's an American that thinks that they're eating reindeer meat, and she thinks I'm just messing with her. Which I was, but not like she thought.
Well, there's a population like in the very north, like the original inhabitants of Sweden. They have like exclusive right to work with reindeers. So it's pretty like rare that you would like get served something like this so far down, well, let's say south in the country. But okay, good for you.
Right? So tell me, because I travel a lot, what is the difference from the part of Sweden you're from and like other parts of Sweden?
I mean, we don't have... When you think of Sweden, you think about big mountains and big, beautiful forests and all of that, what you see in the movies and stuff. But we have mostly like fields in our region, like very good soil where we live, and we're close to the ocean. And yeah,
see, that part I like.
Yeah, I mean, I said southern Sweden is maybe more like landscape-wise, maybe more related to like Denmark or northern Germany in that way, because the country is really long. It takes you like 27, 28 hours to go from south to north. And it's like people are completely different. People's accent is completely different. If a guy from the south and the very north would talk to each other, they would have a little hard time understanding each other even. So it's a pretty interesting country in this way. Only 10 million people, but on pretty huge land surface.
Yeah.
So it changes a lot.
See, I love hearing that. That's why I asked about that, because, people that don't go to other countries, they have this vision of what that country is. Even the United States, like every state in this country might as well be another country.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, it is kind of funny, and you probably get it too. It's like people like, oh, well, isn't it this? And I'm like, no, that would be in like Louisiana. That wouldn't be here. Okay.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So it's cool to hear how other parts of the world are.
And we can really feel that too while we're going through the U.S. now.
Right?
Yeah.
People are different. The language, you talk about the language. Funny story, I go and I cover download and bloodstock in the UK, and I usually fly into Birmingham. And my London friends will be like, you won't understand a word they're saying. And I'm like, come on. And I get off the plane, I'm like, they might as well be speaking Swedish. Because I have no clue what they're saying.
Yeah, that's really like, I mean, obviously we speak English, and over here in the States, I guess there's like some kind of like, I mean, understandable accent no matter where you go, but of course we had those experiences like in Texas, jumping in with an Uber driver, and I really had to like listen,
Right?
because I had a bit of a hard time understanding what he said. But I think it's so interesting to see the huge differences between the states here, because we've only been here just once on a short run.
Oh,
in
really?
December, so this
And
is-
your English is really good.
Well, we watch a lot of shows and listen to music. So, yeah.
So, speaking of music, let's talk about your music. First, I want to talk about, I went to your site, your merch store.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's my favorite merch store I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, just because of the messages, the positive message, and helping the environment, and so that's what I want to hear about. And your mission in
Yeah.
that store, I want to hear about all that.
I mean, we do it ourselves. Like, we run it at home, and for us, it was always like very important that we have merchandise that has a high quality and also is sustainable, because it does impact the environment a lot. And even though we're just a tiny fraction, we want to do what we can and maybe help to inspire other artists to do the same.
Yeah, you set the example. And listen, I love how you said maybe you're just a small part of it, but that's the point. You need the small parts to get to the big parts.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
spread the word. And I think definitely everybody should check it out. I was reading your captions more than I was looking at the merch because I just thought it was so cool.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
So tell us about, you're here at Welcome to Rockville. Is this your first Rockville?
Yes, it is.
Is it wild that you're here at the Daytona International Speedway doing
Yeah.
a show?
This is crazy.
Right?
Yeah,
Did you
unreal.
drive on the raceway?
I'm sure our bus driver did, but we arrived early in the morning when everyone was asleep.
Yeah, so it's like kind of cool. And the wall over there, like if you watch these races on TV, you don't see what you see here. That wall is like straight up and down.
Yeah, definitely. This is crazy. I mean, and this is not really a big thing over in Sweden, like watching like NASCAR and
Right.
stuff. So just to be here and playing our first ever American festival, like we never.
Wow.
It's a bit unreal to be here.
What are some of the festivals in Europe you've played?
That we have played?
That you have played?
Well, you have, for example, what should we do? Deichbrand, Germany. We've done Full Force Festival. We have done Rock for People in Czech Republic. We have done, well, pretty much
Grass Pop, we did Wacken, the legendary metal
Yeah.
festival.
Jeroen Air in Netherlands. So yeah, I mean, we've done quite a bit
Nice.
there over the years.
So, how would you compare the different festivals? Like, which was your favorite festival to play and why?
I mean, we always love to come back to Rock for People in Czech Republic. It's just, I don't know, we love the vibe there.
Yeah.
It's special. Then, of course, to be at Wacken is really cool. 'Cause
Right.
You just feel that you understand why people call it like holy grounds. There's just something about it, you know?
Yeah, and also Full Force was a real pleasure to play, I would say. Yeah.
See, and I ask about this because I also cover like European UK festivals. I haven't done Wacken yet. I've applied, but I haven't heard back yet. I've done Hellfest, and that place is insane. I might do Grass Pop this year. I've done Download. I've done Bloodstock, but it's interesting. That's what's cool about Welcome to Rockville and any of the Danny Wimmer festivals. Like I do festivals all over the U.S. These are, to me, the closest to the European festivals. I think he's like pulled the template from that, which is what makes it a better festival. It's a full-on experience.
Yeah.
Opposed to like a carnival. Like there's a lot of festivals here in the States that they're more like going to the fair.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like a city here at Welcome to Rockville, and that's what you get at the European festivals. It's like you're in a city.
That's what we heard also. A lot of people said that, festivals over here are usually not the same. Because that's just something that's been around for like 30, 40 years in Europe. You built, festivals from the bottom.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, didn't start off in this huge format. They started off like tiny. And then,
Right.
you know, after like Wacken, for example, then after 30 years, it's huge.
Right, like Wacken was
It's
like,
kind of fun that we heard that the founder of Wacken, he basically started the festival so his own band could play.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is the coolest thing. That's if I was in a band, that's probably something I would do. Like, I'm just gonna make my own festival, and then I can play at it.
Yeah.
And it's like this little village, right? You know, and it turned into this massive, like, one of the, biggest, best festivals in the world. It's amazing. But like you said, it's over years and years of time and building up. But Danny Wimmer's done the same thing over the years. Like, I've been doing the Danny Wimmer festivals for many years, and like, we're getting to a point where it's the same kind of feel. It's like, this is like a community, a family. That's what it feels like to me at every music festival. We're in Mental Health Awareness Month, and to me, music is some of the best therapy there is. And to me, a festival is one of the best places with the way things are today in the world, where we can all just get together and be one big family, and there are no sides.
Yeah.
I completely agree, and it's also an opportunity to connect with so many people.
Yeah.
I mean, on festivals, it's usually when you meet people that are, well, not just, over interviews like this, but you come across people, being it like crew members or artists or just people working in the industry, that it's a fantastic way to get connected and not just an industry aspect,
Yeah.
but also on a personal level.
Yeah, totally. So tell everybody how they can hit you up on socials, how they can get to the merch store, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy today, isn't it? With social
Right.
media. It's just Imminence Swe is mostly our handle. You can find our website at imminenceswe.com. Yeah.
Nice. And is there any merch that you recommend? What's your favorite merch in your merch store?
Oh. That's a tough one.
Right? It's like
Yeah.
all your children, right?
Yeah. I mean, I love the designs we've been putting out together with this talented artist from Germany. And yeah, I'd recommend any of our designs, the latest designs we've put out.
And tell us about the new album. That's important too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the new album it's kind of fresh out. It was released in April, so
Yeah.
this is the album tour that we're out doing right now in the States, and this is our first full American tour that we're doing. The new album is called The Black, and it is the 5th release we're doing. We are currently independent. We released this album without a record label, something we worked on for quite some time, and I really believe that it's the strongest one we ever put out.
Nice.
And we kind of feel that recently that it has been giving some attention that we haven't really been familiar with since before, which is fantastic. And it feels incredible to be premiering the songs live, here
Right.
in America.
Yeah. It
And-
feels incredible.
And as the artist, how do you feel that this album is your best work? Meaning, what do you think evolved to make this where so far your musical genius?
I don't know, we've been a band for a long time, and Imminence was our first band that we started.
Right.
And, we started it when we were still teenagers. So we've gone through a lot during the years, and with every album we put out, I always felt like it was our best album to that point.
Right.
It was very reflective of who we were at the time, and we always tried to push the boundaries and try new things. And what I feel about this album is that there's a sense of maturity to it, and it feels like everything we've been trying to do is kind of culminating, and we kind of found the truest form of ourselves.
And see, that makes so much sense to me because, when you're a teenager, you have one thought process. And then you get into your 20s, you have another thought process. 30s, another thought process. And it's not that you eliminate the ones before.
No.
They're all building on each other.
Exactly.
And then even as a musician, listen, I say this all the time. What musician would want to still be where they're at when they started?
Yeah.
You got to grow, you got to learn your craft, and you experiment. And then you really find out your true voice.
And that I think takes time, you can do that in different ways. I guess a lot of bands are maybe a composition of members that have been doing very well, maybe in previous projects, and so they kind of know their own qualities, and so which is something we have developed together for many years, and I believe now we have reached a point where we understand what we do very well, and that maybe sets us apart from others, and are not really afraid to play on our strengths, without trying to look in another direction and see what anyone else is doing, and just keeping our head down and focus on our own craft and refining that as much as possible. And I think, we were more successful in this album than any time before.
Nice. And I love that you're doing it all on your own and DIY and the fact that you can in these days and still be as professional as, the powers that be. Because this way you're truly free as an artist. Like, I grew up in a time where I saw the record labels, dictate what music they would play and all that. And I think it holds you back. It puts you in a box. This way you can be your own artist, and exactly what you want to express, you'll be able to express, which to me, the listener, makes me feel that you're being real about it. And then I can, associate with it and relate to it. And to me, I can always tell, you can see a band up on stage, and you can always tell if they're just being true to themselves or they're going through what somebody else told them to do.
I think that's one of the most important aspects of is authenticity for us. That what we do has to come through. It's so great to hear that you acknowledge the merch, like you thought about the message and the quality and what we stand for, and we want everything to be reflected, like, from our music into whatever it is. If it's live performance or if it's merch or whatever, it's all authentic. It's all very genuine from our side.
Yeah, as an artist, it should be your message, not somebody else's message. And that's what I love about it. And man, can't wait for you here at Welcome to Rockville, and see you a lot more all over the U.S. because you guys are badass.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming all the way over here to the hottest part of the world.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
You guys got lucky today with the clouds, because it would have been brutal.
Yeah.
But thank you for making us great music, and thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.